Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. I'm sure as you all know by this point, we are getting closer and closer to the mini off-season, for lack of a better word. I never know what to call it. The time period between spring and summer. It is an off-season, but it's not a full off-season. There will be a couple probably really big, really significant moves that could end up affecting, the outcomes of summer, what teams go to Worlds, what teams win a championship, what players futures get changed and all that stuff. It's going to be spicy, but obviously there's not going to be 20 teams in the West all changing rosters. There's going to be probably like 3, 4, 5 teams making changes, but there will be some big changes. And we're getting closer and closer to that time period, so the speculation, the rumors, everything is going to start ramping up. So what I wanted to go over in this video today was some new news, some new updates, some new just kind of rumors and stuff that we have from Wooloo. Obviously, he's a guy we love to check in with, one of the best in the business. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that so much. It really helps out the content. The videos with more likes perform better. They get shown to more people. YouTube promotes them higher because it seems like people are liking them. Even if they aren't, hey, we can still trick YouTube. We can still click that button. Also, subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. That would be absolutely insane as well, helping us run those numbers up and up and up. We've been doing pretty good lately. With that being said, let's get right into this. What we're going over today is this from @LEC_Wooloo. He says, I wrote about the LEC LCS players from 2021 that didn't play this spring, but that are available for this summer split. Obviously, LEC/LCS teams are willing to make changes. They could also get players from Academy/ERL or other LEC/LCS teams, but these are the guys with the least barriers to entry. These are the guys that are actually free agents. Some of them do have buyouts, but they're the most available players. Obviously, stuff could happen with the other guys as well. He does start us off by saying he did not include Nemesis because he did mention this is players who played in 2021. Obviously, Nemesis last played in 2020, but he does say that, in his opinion, he could also be a great player potentially returning. Now, he doesn't say any rumor. He doesn't throw anything out there. He's just saying, hey, Nemesis exists. He's out there. It seems like he's kind of looking for offers. I don't really know what Nemesis's deal is. It seems like he's kind of like in the weird boat of like Doublelift and Jensen and stuff where they're looking for offers, but only if it's from great teams for great salaries. And I don't know if Nemesis has the same kind of negotiating power that somebody like Jensen does, coming off an amazing Worlds performance, where Nemesis is coming off of a year of nothing, and the year before that kind of a questionable Worlds performance. So I don't know, but Nemesis is out there. He's a guy who has a possibility and potential to be returning, and I'm sure a lot of people would be excited to see Nemesis again, myself included. I'm curious to see if he's ramped up in solo queue over the last couple of years or not. Obviously, LS thinks so, but I think LS also thought he was, pretty good in 2020, and that's not always what I thought. But there are some big things in this article, so we are going to go over it again. Broik Seeger, I think is how you say his name. This is obviously Wooloo. He's doing a good job. First guy he's going over is Niski, and this is a guy I've been talking about a lot recently. He says, Niski may not be a free agent, but he's been sitting on the bench ever since Humanoid signed as a mid laner for Fnatic. Yet there is a high chance of seeing Niski back for Summer Split, as he was one of the best performing players from this list last year. He went to Worlds with Fnatic after all, and obviously that kind of got derailed with the whole upset drama situation, Adam, all that stuff, and then Blippo had his own drama and stuff going on. It was really crazy. He does say that some teams have already expressed interest in the player per sources. On top of that, Niski managed to remain in the spotlight by climbing to rank 1 in solo queue earlier this year. He's even still in top 10. Niski has everything needed to get back into the heart of LEC competition, and a team just needs to buy out his contract from Fnatic. Now, that is a big hurdle in this whole situation. Niski is not a free agent. He is still signed to Fnatic, and Fnatic hasn't let him go. Fnatic still has that contract, and they seem willing to hold on to it. They know Niski is good. They know other teams are going to want Niski eventually, so they want to try and make some money off this thing. But I think it is very interesting. He says, some teams have already expressed interest in the player. He says multiple teams here. Obviously, I've been speculating a lot recently about Mad Lions, and I've heard rumors behind the scenes that Mad Lions could potentially be interested in Niski. There are definitely going to be other teams as well. Some people have said Excel, maybe replacing Nukeduck with Niski could be a very interesting move. I I know people have said TSM could be an interesting move. There's definitely many teams out there that I think would benefit greatly from having Niski on their roster. And 100 Thieves is a team that was potentially interested in Niski last year as well. And I think at this point, Niski might be an upgrade over Abadage even. So who knows what's going to happen with Niski? He is not the easiest guy to move since he has that buyout, but we will see. Next up, we have Advian. Obviously, we just saw this guy with Excel at the beginning of the season. He gets replaced by Mickey. One thing I have heard that makes a lot of sense is potentially Advian going to Astralis, but at this point, who knows where Advian's going to end up. I think Astralis Advian would make a ton of sense, but Astralis doesn't really ever make moves that make a ton of sense. But I don't really have a ton to say about him. I think he's good. He's kind of an older, inexperienced player, so it's kind of a weirder area, but I think Advian's good. I think he absolutely deserves a spot in the LEC. We also have Leader. Another mid laner that's still under contract, LEC, with an LEC team is Leader. He had some interest from LEC and LTS teams last offseason, but never went further than that. I don't know who the LEC teams are. I know it seems like Cloud9 was maybe interested in Leader at one point, which I think is kind of random, kind of weird. However, if there are any mid lane changes across either league, we could see him back. Otherwise, Leader may just spend one more split on the bench or head over to the ERL. Obviously, he's still under contract with Vitality. This is a guy who I didn't think was that great when we saw him in the LEC last. I don't really expect him to land a job, but I think seeing him in the ERLs would be cool, but he's already grinded out the ERLs a bunch, so who knows what he's going to do at this point in his career. Then we get to one of the bigger ones, obviously here, Jensen. Similarly to Niski, Jensen faced an unfortunate offseason following a run at the World Championships. Yeah, crazy that both these guys were at Worlds in 2021, and now neither of them has a team. Despite his previous troubles, Jensen also has a good chance of getting back into competition. So it sounds like Wooloo thinks Jensen and Niski will both be around in the summer split of 2022. I know we heard from Blabber, he said he expects Niski to be back in summer split as well. We'll have to see what happens. Wooloo does say here, this is a big update. I think this is the biggest update so far, that one LCS team has already expressed interest in the player according to sources. Now, this is pretty spicy and this is pretty interesting because the LCS regular season is still going on. Every single LCS team, even TSM, still has a chance to make the playoffs. No team has been eliminated yet. Every team is still actively vying for a playoff spot and, by kind of proxy, still vying for a spot at MSI, still vying for a spot at the title. Every team in the LCS could still win the title. So to hear that one LCS team has already expressed interest in Jensen and is maybe talking to his team, maybe talking to his agents, maybe talking a little bit behind the scenes, I think is very, very interesting. Now, who is this team? Again, is this 100 Thieves? I don't know. I think that would be pretty crazy. I think that would be pretty wild. I know some people have said, man, it'd be pretty cool if Dignitas got like Jensen and Doublelift. That would be cool. TSM is always going to be a name thrown in there. I don't know. I don't know who this one LCS team is, but to me, this was kind of the biggest update of the article that, yes, an LCS team, at least according to Wooloo, has expressed interest in Jensen. That is very, very big. So it's more than likely that we'll see him back in NA next split, and I think that is really, really cool. Also, he's a resident in North America, so it just makes a ton of sense. There's no reason. There's absolutely no reason. This guy is a free agent. He doesn't even have a buyout. Team Liquid let go of him. There's no reason a resident North American mid laner that is this talented, this good, not only domestically, but especially maybe the best internationally performing LCS player of all time, does not have a team. That is a disgrace. That is gross. He needs to be back in the summer split. I'm not even a big Jensen fan. I'm really not even a big Jensen fan. As a longtime Bjergsen fan, these guys butt heads. These guys go at each other. Jensen needs to be in the LCS. Then we get to Jizuke. He didn't continue with EG. It's a little bit harder for him to find a spot, as Wooloo says, just because there's so many mid laners right now. When you have options of Jensen and Niski, how are you going to end up on Jizuke? I don't know, but he's out there. Ignar is also out there as well, and this guy has played in the LEC and the LCS, so hey, maybe he could make a return back to Europe. Maybe he could stick around in the LCS. Again, another guy who I think it's going to kind of be tough for him to find a spot, but there's not a ton of good support. There's not a ton of good support options out there. I know some people have said they'd love to see Ignar on TSM, obviously, but I think Ayla is going to be another guy that is highly sought after. It seems like Chime is another guy that's going to be highly sought after as well. So who knows where Ignar will end up going, or if we'll see him in the summer split. I think it's kind of unlikely. And then Magja Felix did sign with Misfits for the playoffs, obviously, but his contract does run out April 4th, so he will be a free agent again for the summer split. And he was pretty good on Astralis. I'm shocked Astralis did not hang on to him, but he is going to be a free agent. Who knows knows where Magic Felix will end up next. That's another guy who I think it's tough for him to find a spot just because there's so many other good mid laners right now. I think he probably deserves a spot in the LEC, but, will he get one? Who knows? But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about anything we talked about in this video. Niski, Jensen, any of these stories, where you think these guys are going, where you think they should go. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then.